What if quitting your job to do woodworking full-time is not the dream move you think it is, but actually the fastest way to turn something you love into financial stress? And here is the real question I want you to think about before anything else. If your paycheck disappeared tomorrow, could your woodworking income realistically replace it next month? Not someday, but immediately. Because that single question is where most people get this decision completely wrong. A lot of skilled woodworkers assume that talent is the thing that determines success. But in reality, it is numbers. And if the numbers are not right, going full-time is not a leap forward. It is a step into uncertainty that most people are not financially prepared for. Now here is something interesting. Recent data from Small Business Trends in the United States shows that a large percentage of craft-based businesses fail within the first few years, not because the products are bad, but because the income is inconsistent and the owners underestimate their true costs. And that is where this conversation gets uncomfortable. Because when you are running a woodworking side hustle, inconsistency is manageable. You have a stable job covering your bills, your rent, your health insurance. But the moment you go full-time, that safety net disappears. So let me ask you something honestly. Are you building a business that can stand on its own? Or are you building one that only works because your job is quietly supporting it in the background? Let me paint a quick picture for you. Imagine someone named Jake. He works a regular 9-to-5 job. But in the evenings and on weekends, he builds custom furniture in his garage. At first, it is just a creative outlet. Then friends start asking for pieces. Then strangers. Soon, he is making an extra $2,000 a month. That feels exciting. It feels like momentum. And this is where the thought starts creeping in. What if I just did this full time? What if I quit my job and doubled my output? Sounds logical, right? But here is the question most people never stop to ask. Is that $2,000 actually profit? Or is it just revenue that looks good on the surface? Because once Jake sits down and breaks it down, things start to shift. Materials take a large cut. Sandpaper, finishes, hardware, wood costs that fluctuate more than people expect. Then there is tool wear, electricity, shop rent if he upgrades his space, even small things like packaging and delivery. And then comes the biggest one, his time. When you are doing this as a side hustle, you do not always calculate your hourly rate properly. But the moment it becomes your full-time income, every hour matters. So now let me ask you, if you took your total monthly revenue and divided it by the actual hours you worked, what is your real hourly income? This is where a lot of people get their first wake-up call. Because what looked like a strong side income can sometimes drop below minimum wage when calculated correctly. And that is not to discourage you. It is to ground you in reality. Because once you understand your real numbers, you can start making better decisions. And this leads to the first key metric you need to track if you are even thinking about going full-time. Consistent monthly profit, not revenue profit. Now here is a question that might change how you look at your business. If your income fluctuates month to month, how do you plan to cover fixed expenses like rent, insurance, and groceries? Because consistency is what separates a side hustle from a real business. It is not about having one great month where you make $5,000. It is about being able to repeat that performance over and over again. So the real benchmark is not your best month. It is your average month over the last 6 to 12 months. And here is where many people realize they are not as ready as they thought. But let us go deeper. Because revenue consistency alone is not enough. The second metric that matters just as much is profit margin. And here is the uncomfortable truth. If your margins are too thin, scaling your business will actually increase your stress instead of your income. Think about that for a second. More orders, more work, but not significantly more money left over. That is a trap a lot of woodworkers fall into. So ask yourself this. After all your costs, what percentage of each sale are you actually keeping? Professionals in this space often aim for healthy margins that allow room for mistakes, slow periods, and unexpected expenses. Because those things will happen. A tool breaks. A client delays payment. Material prices spike. If your margins are tight, those small disruptions can create big problems. And this is why understanding your numbers before going full-time is not optional. It is essential. Now let me ask you another question that most people overlook completely. How predictable are your orders? Because this brings us to the third metric, and it might be the most important one of all. Order volume consistency. Are your sales coming in regularly, or are they random bursts followed by silence? Because a full-time business cannot survive on unpredictability. You need a pipeline. You need a system that brings in work consistently, whether that is through repeat customers, online platforms, or referrals. Let us go back to Jake for a moment. After tracking his numbers, he realizes something important. His income is not coming from a steady flow of customers. It is coming from occasional large orders. One month he builds a custom dining table and makes a big chunk of money. The next month, nothing. And that pattern is dangerous. Because when you go full-time, those gaps become financial pressure. So here is the question. If your next order did not come in for 30 days, would your business still survive? And this leads to something that separates sustainable businesses from struggling ones. Customer return rate. Are people coming back to buy from you again? Or is every sale a one-time transaction? Because repeat customers create stability. They reduce the need to constantly find new buyers. And they signal something even more important, that your product and your pricing are aligned with real demand. Now I want you to think about your current situation. Out of your last 10 customers, how many came back for another purchase? Because that number tells you more about your future than your total sales ever will. And if that number is low, it does not mean your work is bad. It means there is an opportunity to improve your product mix, your pricing, or your customer experience. At this point, you might be thinking, okay, I just need to increase my sales and everything will work out. But here is where most people make a critical mistake. They focus on growth without building a financial foundation first. So let me ask you this. If your income suddenly dropped by 50% for 3 months, would you be able to survive without going into debt? Because this is where the concept of a business emergency fund comes in. Not personal savings, business savings. A separate buffer that protects your operation during slow periods. And this is one of the biggest differences between people who successfully transition to full-time and those who struggle. The successful ones do not rely on hope. They prepare for volatility. Now here is something that might surprise you. Many financial experts suggest having at least 3 to 6 months of expenses covered before going full-time. And that includes both personal and business costs. So rent, food, insurance, materials, everything. Because when you remove financial pressure, you make better decisions. You do not take bad orders just to survive. You do not underprice your work out of desperation. So here is the question I want you to really sit with. Are you thinking about going full-time because your business is ready? Or because you are tired of your job? Because those are two very different motivations, and only one of them leads to a sustainable outcome. And we are just getting started. Because in the next part, we are going to break down the exact financial thresholds you should be hitting before you even consider leaving your job. The biggest mistake people make when they finally go full-time. And how to transition in a way that protects your income instead of putting it at risk. And trust me, the numbers you are about to see might completely change your timeline. Now let me ask you something that most people avoid because it forces a very clear answer. What number would your woodworking business need to hit every single month for you to feel financially safe walking away from your job? Not hopeful, not optimistic, but safe. Because this is where everything becomes real. It is no longer about passion or potential. It is about replacing a system that already works with one that you are still building. So let us break this down in a way that actually protects you. The first thing you need to calculate is what is called your minimum viable monthly income. This is not your dream lifestyle. This is your survival number. Rent or mortgage, utilities, groceries, insurance, transportation, debt payments, and basic living expenses. For many people in the United States, that number can easily land somewhere between $3,000 to $5,000 a month, sometimes more depending on location. Now here is the key question. Is your woodworking business consistently generating that amount in profit, not revenue, profit, for at least 6 months in a row? Because if the answer is no, then going full-time is not a calculated move, it is a gamble. And here is where people get tripped up. They look at one strong month, and assume it represents their future. But businesses do not operate on best-case scenarios. They operate on averages. So the real benchmark is not your highest earning month. It is your lowest consistent month. Ask yourself this: what is the lowest amount my business has generated in the last 6 months? And could I survive on that? Now let me introduce you to a concept that changes how you approach this entirely. Instead of thinking about replacing your income, think about replacing your stability. Because your job does not just give you money, it gives you predictability. And when you go full-time, you have to recreate that predictability through systems. So how do you do that? This is where the transition strategy becomes critical. The biggest mistake people make is quitting too early, and then trying to figure things out under pressure. But what if you flip that approach? What if instead of quitting first, you slowly built your business to the point where quitting becomes the obvious next step? Here is what that looks like in practice. You start by increasing your production capacity while still employed. That might mean optimizing your workflow, batching similar projects, or focusing on higher margin products instead of custom one-off pieces that take too much time. Then you begin tracking your numbers more seriously. Every dollar in, every dollar out. Because clarity creates control. Now here is a question that might shift your thinking. Are you building a woodworking business? Or are you just completing projects? Because there is a difference. A business has systems. It has repeatable processes. It has predictable outcomes. And this is where many talented woodworkers get stuck. They are great at building, but they have not built a system around their building. Let me give you an example. Imagine 2 woodworkers making the same type of coffee table. One sells it occasionally when someone asks. The other has a simple online listing, clear pricing, consistent photos, and a process for taking orders every week. Same product, completely different business. So ask yourself, if someone wanted to buy from you today, how easy is it for them to do that? Because ease of purchase directly affects consistency of income. And consistency is what gives you the confidence to go full-time. Now let us talk about another piece that most people ignore until it becomes a problem: accounting. And I know this is not the exciting part, but it is one of the most important. When you are running a side hustle, it is easy to mix personal and business finances. Cash payments, quick transfers, informal tracking. But the moment you go full-time, that approach will create confusion and stress. So here is the question. Do you actually know your numbers? Or are you estimating them? Because there is a big difference. A real business tracks everything: income, expenses, profit margins, taxes. And speaking of taxes, this is another area where people get caught off guard. When you are self-employed, you are responsible for your own taxes. And that can take a significant portion of your income if you are not prepared. So now your minimum viable income needs to account for that as well. Not just what you spend, but what you owe. And suddenly, the number you need to hit each month becomes clearer, and often higher than people initially expect. Now let me ask you something that might feel uncomfortable, but it is necessary. What happens if your passion starts to feel like pressure? Because when woodworking is your side hustle, it is something you look forward to. But when it becomes your primary source of income, deadlines, customer expectations, and financial stress can change how it feels. That does not mean you should not do it. It means you need to be prepared for that shift. This is why product selection matters more than most people realize. Custom work can be rewarding, but it is also time-intensive and unpredictable. On the other hand, standardized products can be produced more efficiently and sold more consistently. So here is a question. Are you designing your business for creativity or for scalability? Because ideally, you want a balance of both. Now let us bring everything together with a simple reality check. If your woodworking business is generating consistent monthly profit, if your margins are healthy, if your order flow is predictable, if you have at least 3 to 6 months of expenses saved, and if you understand your numbers clearly, then going full-time starts to make sense. Not emotionally, but financially. But if even one of those pieces is missing, then the smarter move is not to rush. It is to build. Because every month you spend strengthening your foundation increases your chances of long-term success. And here is the part most people do not talk about. There is no prize for quitting your job early. The real win is building a business that actually supports your life without constant stress. So instead of asking, when can I quit? Ask a better question. What needs to be true for quitting to be the safest decision I can make? Because once you can answer that clearly, the path becomes obvious. So here is what I want you to do next. Take a real look at your numbers. Not guesses, not rough ideas, real numbers. Calculate your true profit, your monthly averages, your expenses, and your safety net. And then compare that to where you are today. Because that gap between where you are and where you need to be is your roadmap. And if this made you rethink your timeline, that is a good thing. Because the goal is not just to go full-time. The goal is to stay full-time without going backwards. If you found this helpful, share it with someone who is thinking about turning their craft into a career. Because this is a decision that can change everything. And if you want more practical, real-world strategies like this, subscribe to the channel. Because we are not just talking about building things, we are talking about building something that lasts. And I will leave you with this one final question. If you made the leap today, would your business catch you, or would you be hoping it does?